that in the valedictory, I would only say what Moushumi asked me to say. What do you feel? She gave the first. No, I am talking what do I feel. That's all the topic. I am not going to talk about the 24 pages long paper that I have written. It is in my computer with the presentation. I am not going to do that. I am just going to, still scratch the surface of consciousness. What is consciousness? In our tradition, consciousness comes through three words: existence, knowledge, and bliss, infinite. If you talk about the scientific or science, the travel of science in and through consciousness, they have worked out a lot. Phenomenology as a philosophical discipline tries to give foundation for science. It is a philosophy which gives foundation for science. That how science can be thought of phenomenologically. I am not going to go to that. That is a part of my presentation. I am not going to do that today. I start with the presentation which Professor Joshi did in the morning. I have to put a little of that and then give these three concepts. What is that? Number one, that is existence. Second, knowledge. Third, bliss, infinite. Fourth. But before that, I will just do this by quoting a verse from Mundaka Upanishad, where it is said, I quote, Natatra Suryo Bhati Nachandra Tarakam Nema Viputo Bhanti Utoya Magni Tameva Bhantam Anubhati Sarvam Tasya Bhasa Sarvamidam Vibhati. This is a prayer mantra where in the morning and evening people pray, people show the lamp to the gods in the prayer hall, wherever, whatever, in the temples the priests do, they show this, with this mantra they show it to the God. What is it mean? Oh God, try to get it what I am reading. In your realm, the sun does not shine. The sun's light is insignificant. Sun, which is the source of all lights, is Natatra Suryo Bhadi. And what to talk about moon, stars, Nema Vidyuto Bhanti. Lightning is another source of manifestation, enlightenment. In that realm, lightning does not shine. Kutoya Magni. And how would this fire, this small lamp enlighten you? The priest, the devotee, is addressing the Lord, saying, in your realm, none of these enlightening factors work. And how you feel that I will enlighten you with this lamp? Tameva Bhantam, with his light being lit, with the manifestation of his consciousness, Anubhati Sarvam, everything else shines forth. Tasya Bhasa, in his jyoti, light, Sarvamidam Vibhati, everything gets enlightened with the light that springs forth from it. This is the source of light, this is the consciousness. Invoking the consciousness, Mundaka Upanishad says that light does not come from the sun, light does not come from the moon or the stars or the lightning. And what to talk about fire? And therefore, oh God, Ameva Bhantam, with his light, everything gets enlightened. And that is the only source of light. And I am little inspired to quote Shankaracharya. This is from Upanishads. Shankaracharya, who in his Saundarya Lahari says, how is the lighting possible? What is the source and what we should do for that source? This is the source we have already told, and what should we do for that source? Like a consciousness, he says, the last verse of Saundarya Lahari, he says, Pradeepa Jwaladhi Divasakara Nirajana Vidhi. When we do Surya Puja, what we do, we take a small lamp, Suryaya Argham Deepam Darsayam, for the source of all lights we show only the lamp. Why do we show? There it is said, Tasya Bhasa Sarvamidam Vibhati, and here it is said, Pradeepa Jwaladhi Divasakara Nirajana Vidhi. All the Nirajana means the showing the lamp. How? With the lamp lighting, the sun is worshipped. Sudha Sudaya Chandro Palajalalavai Arghya Rachana. The dewdrops come from the moon. And with the dewdrops, we do puja, Chandra puja. Swakiyehi Ambhopihi Salilanidhi Sauhitya Karam. And with when you go to Ganga, you don't carry water from home to do Ganga Tarpana. You do Ganga Tarpana by Ganga's water. Samudra Tarpana with Samudra water. Water from the ocean is used for that. The last line is very important. This is very important not for, as I told you, syncretism between Shankara and Abhinav. Tvadiyabhihi bhagitihi tava janani vacham stuti. And with your words, I am praying you. Shankara is telling, oh goddess, I am praying you not by words that I possess. Bhasa is always a Matru Bhasa. Mother's language is what we speak. He says, your language. What is the language? Language of Vimarsa. The language of Pratibha. The language comes from the mother, and that is, and where is the language? Where is the language located? The language is located in Prakasha. This is the idea which Valedictory says, that Anadi Nidhanam Brahma Sabda Tattvam. Brahma is a Sabda Tattva. Only the words can give the meaning. Okay? Anadi Nidhanam Brahma Sabda Tattvam. Yadakharam Vivartate Artha Bhavena. The whole language has transformed into the world. What is that language? Language of consciousness. And now, with these two introductory verses, I want to say what the Buddhist tradition talks about this consciousness. How did Buddha, what was Buddha talking about? We always think that he talked about Anatmavada. He did. How did he do? He told one thing, come and see. Come and see. If you want to have the real feel of the existence, you have to come and see. Don't believe in the books. Buddha told, beyond the books you have to see everything once, and this is what as come and see. And this is the first thing that use your reason, rationality, see, and then accept. Don't accept what has been written in books, you will go to Swarga and all that. No mystery, no mysticism. I will come to mysticism in a while. No mysticism. According to Buddha, Buddha demystified the reality, which was mystified in the name of Swarga, this, that, 100 things. This is what Buddha said. And after Buddha, many 100 years after Buddha, Shankara came. Before that, Godabarisha came. He told, whatever you have written is there already. But seeing is not enough. After seeing, we have to do vichara. Whatever we see, there might be something which is wrong in our seeing. What is that stands without being vitiated by any seeing, that is the consciousness. Yat drishyam tan mithya. Whatever you see is vitiated to, subjected to mithya. So anything, mithya does not mean it is all not there at all. It is false, it needs to be corrected. The correction can come only from consciousness. That is what Shankara's submission. Submission to the world that you may see something, it is not what you see. Many things we see, believe, act, fall into a pit. Shankara corrects the human understanding of seeing. And this is again given in a beautiful epithet in Jyotir Brahmana, which Professor Joshi was speaking in the morning. I will repeat a little. How much time I have? Another 20 minutes and talk. So, what this is the epithet from Brihadaranyaka Upanishad, Jyotir Brahmana section, and the section he has already spoken, but I will just speak a little elaboration a bit, like giving a footnote to what he said. Like again the question of enlightenment, how do we see? Janaka is always curious of understanding. We are all like people of self-knowledge, but the self-knowledge is limited in us. It is a journey towards unlimited self-knowledge, which I was telling that it is Ananda. That is the thing where, so I always tell my students, whatever book you read, you are reading Vedanta. Whatever act you are doing liberative act. You are going towards liberation. So, Janaka is trying to understand it deeply, more deeply than he has understood earlier. He has taken a promise from Yajnavalkya, as and when there is a doubt, he has to answer. Once it so happened, they are meeting, and Yajnavalkya is asked, Janaka is asking a question, Kim Jyoti? What is the Jyoti? Yajnavalkya knows what is the problem. He said, Aditya evasya Jyotir bhavati samrat. What is it? Sun becomes the Jyoti. What is the question? Astamite is Aditya. When sun is set, Chandrama evasya Jyotir bhavati samrat. Astamite Aditya. Astamite Chandramaso. Then he is telling the stars become, when the stars are not there, what becomes? He tells the lightning becomes lightning not there, it does not come every day. He tells Bhagevasya Jyotir Bhavati Samrat. Bhag, the speech becomes the Jyoti. When Santayam Vachi goes on, he is telling Atma eva asya Jyotir Bhavati Samrat. Like so, when none of these things are there, suppose you are in a dark room, you call your husband, you have the phone, you tell where is the key, he will tell go to the left, go to the right. That becomes the light that enlightens you for getting something. And when that is not there, what is the light? He is asking. He is telling Bhagevasya Jyotir Bhavati Samrat. So then when there is no lack, even if none of these things are there, still there is a source of knowing. What is that source? Atme Vasya Jyotir Bhavati. Then question comes, Katama Atmeti. What is Atma? And he gives a long description as to how the Hrudyantar Jyotir Purushaha. The Hrudya is not the heart as we understand, but the essential being present in yourself, in your body is that is it is the Sariri. And there he talks about how it goes from one to another, and he talks about Sandhya, where he was talking about the Sandhi, and a picturesque description from journey from one to one, like life to another life. Like it is very beautifully given. What is that is going? What is going is subtle body is going. How is subtle body going? Subtle body is going because of the Atma. The essential consciousness makes it possible to move from one place to another. And what is this? It is everywhere. And that is my first submission, the existence part is given. The second part I want to come to you with another. Now, this is one thing. This is one thing. Another thing that I want to bring in for you. Why all these things? How does the consciousness in our tradition has helped us to understand? This is a major question that has been asked in order to why we want all these things. How is it related to consciousness study, Vedanta or Buddhism? And please remember, there is a dichotomy I have already told you. Your words I am praising you. Can I tell the essential nature of you by words? Not possible. And this is told by none other than Nagarjuna himself. He says, Anaksharaśya dharmasya. I am talking about consciousness. How Buddhism has kept its identity but assimilated in the larger Brahminism is because of this bringing together the same Buddha is evolving from this land. I always tell my students, don't think Buddhism is another like a Semitic religion. It is our religion, our tradition. See, Anaksharaśya dharmasya. Nagarjuna says, the chief exponent, chief spokesman of Buddhism, Buddhist tradition, he says, Anaksharaśya dharmasya. This dharma does not have any akshara. There is no way you can speak about this in language. Shrutika, Desanachaka. How would you listen? How the Sravana is possible? How is the teaching possible? Now, are you getting the point? He is telling Anakhya Dharma is what? The essential consciousness in Vedanta. He is telling this is Sunya. This Sunya is Dharma. This Dharma you cannot speak and you cannot teach. Then what was Buddha doing in all his 86 years of life? What was he doing? Nakaschit kutrachit kinchit dharmo buddhena bhasita. Nagarjuna says the last verse of Nagarjuna's Mula Madhyamika Karika, nowhere to nobody at no place, at nothing. Three things. No content, no time and no person is there in the teaching of the Buddha. Buddha did not teach anybody at no point of time or any content. Nakaschit, kutrachit kinchit, at any place or any subject matter. Dharmo buddhena bhasita. Why? It is anakshara. It is anakshara. It is not. It cannot be spoken. And same thing is spoken by Upanishads. They say, Yat manasa na manute, Yat mano matam. You cannot speak adreshyam, asparsam, agrajyam, amatam. You cannot speak about this. You cannot. If you cannot speak about this, you cannot think about this. Mind is not, what we are telling, formulation, formal. Mind is not that which can encapsulate it. So how do I do? What is the purpose of this teaching, this exercise that has been going on in this land for 5,000 years, not 1 or 2 years. The conscious study which this is bringing with various dimensions is not a matter that is going on today. 5,000 years of known history. What is that? Why we need this? I will take a little time of yours to tell you why we need consciousness and how to do this. Time permits, wherever you want, I can stop me, I will stop it. The problem is this: the human life. If you take the human life into consideration, there is 3 things. One is sadhyatraya. There are 3 things. One is sadhyatraya. What is that? Upadhi pariskara. That is self-improvement. Our life, we always improve ourselves. What is that? Improvement of the body, improvement of the mind. These are the 2 things. Upadhi means I am not my body, I am not my mind. These 2 things. The mind, consciousness, relationship, I will come to when if time permits today. The phenomenology people have. Yeah. So they have done this. So the first is Upadhi Pariskar. This is discussed Swati in the 4th Sutra, Brahma Sutra. Tattu Samanvaya. All these Upanishads are relevant to our understanding of our existence. So what is that? So he is telling first thing, the upadhi pariskara. All the times we are interested in improvement of our body, mind and things around us. Upadhi pariskara. And second is upadhi, body and mind can be properly maintained if you have things around us. So that is called as Vishaya Pariskara. So that Vishaya means what? Possession of riches, having children, like all these are called Vishayas. What you have, what you are is Upadhi, because you are not essentially the body. But these are all things we have accrued. We possess all these things, body and mind. And that is, first is Upadhi Pariskara, second is Vishaya Pariskara, the third is Loka Pariskara. See, you have a good body and good mind, you have enough children and you have enough riches, cows, those days gold and land, but you are staying in a Naxalite infected area, or you are staying in an area which is infected by unlivable elements. There is no, you cannot live. First thing, if you have no body, good mind, you don't have a good life. Second thing, you have that and you don't have proper things to manage yourself, you cannot live well. Third thing, if a place is not good, you cannot live. The three things are required for a proper living. I am talking, why do we need consciousness? Why the people have done consciousness research? How to talk about number one. Buddha says, Nagarjuna says, Anakshara. Upanishad says, Yad Manasana Mantra, mind cannot conceptualize this. This is something which mind can. The third thing is Loka Pariskara. Then what is the second one? Sadhana Traya. So in the absence of any of these things, life is not comfortable. Three factors of sadhya are required for living a comfortable life. And therefore, what do you need? Sadhana you need. Any sadhya comes from sadhana. The instruments of better life. What is that? Physical sadhana, kaika sadhana, manasa sadhana, and vachika sadhana. And we are making a livelihood out of vachika sadhana. The teachers, the professors especially, manasa sadhana and vachika sadhana. Are you getting? So kaika sadhana, vachika sadhana and manasa sadhana. So these are the two things. But Upanishad says, these two factors, sadhya traya and sadhana traya, which is required for a nice life, is infected by the natural defects integrally associated with this. This is called as dosha traya. All this you have and all this you are, good body, good mind you are, and all the things you have is infected by dosha traya. What is the dosha? Dosha is the defects inherently present in these three things. What are those? Dukkha misritatva. All that you get is some way or other associated with pain. Getting something is not easy. Getting a job is how difficult those who have got job, especially in the university job, to get what type of problem. Prapane dukkha. In order to get it is painful. Rakshane those dukkha. And in order to maintain it, you have to write articles, you have to attend seminars, and you have to go, all these things you have to do. And naste dukkha. Anything, to purchase a car, you have to take a loan, do this, run around, and maintaining a car, and suppose the car dashes against somebody else, again dukkha. So prapane dukkham, rakshane dukkham, naste dukkham. And the second thing is atrupti karatva. However best a thing you get, the neighbor's husband is good. So it never gives you permanent satisfaction. Okay? So neighbor's husband means wife is included. So atrupti karatva. They never give you complete satisfaction. And the third thing is very important, bandha karatva. They bind you. And the world is so full of the people, I don't want to say bandhakatva, they don't want to leave you. The car, you possess the car or car possesses you, you do not know. It's so bad. I am talking about why do we need consciousness research? Why do we need to understand consciousness? Generally, so प्रापणे दुःखम, रक्षणे दुःखम, नष्टे दुःखम, अतृप्तिकरत्वम, they never go, and bandhakatvam, अतृप्तिकरत्वम, no total satisfaction, bandhakatvam. Generally, we all are satisfied with these three, even though we are dodged by them. Like whatever happens, we get pleasure out of these things in spite of all the defects associated with the things. And for this is the world. Now Vedanta comes with another prescription that he says these are dosha sahita sadhya. This all these attainments are with defects. And now I am talking from a platform which will give you a dosha rahita sadhya, which is not infected by dosha. So dosha rahita sadhya is what Vedanta gives you. Now we have already told you that this dosha rahita sadhya is not something which can be spoken. Not like the language will not reach it, mind will not reach it. Now how to reach it is the problem. Is if consciousness is something which is beyond my organized thing. Madam was telling, Professor Lucy was telling something like so. By listening to this problem, a person will get into the doubt which I was talking in the morning, and defects are inherent to me. Reminded by myself, I know my defects. The food does not get digested, this happens, that happens, and you also. Like not only me, people get enough pleasure by telling you don't have that. Like what you don't have, you know, but I also remind you by telling. So what will happen? So science gives the knowledge which is sadosha. This is the parting point of science and darsana. Professor Cooch was talking about science and philosophy in darsana. So what is that? So like science gives us the defect, like there is the theory of falsity, the falsification theory. Always I tell, the philosophy gives you unexperimented truth, whereas science gives you experimented falsity. This is I don't want to take much time to discuss this particular problem, but science gives you exproved falsity, philosophy gives you unproved truth. So I want to know how it happens. So here, this is where how the word operates to understand the consciousness comes into play. Does the word come into play when we are talking about consciousness? What is consciousness? Chit. Can chit be spoken? We have already said that chit cannot be spoken. The first thing I have already told you. Then why it cannot be spoken? What are the things spoken is something which is discussed in our tradition. The language means in 5 ways. This is what Patanjali speaks in his Mahabharata. The Rudi, a name can make a thing understood, but self does not have a name. It is not speakable. How name will be there? Speaking of the unspeakable is the topic now. So there is no Rudhi. The second is Jati, Samanya. I can say cowness, and suppose there is a cow different in Tibet, that is also a variety of cow. I can understand that cowness. There is no two. The cowness is not possible for Brahman. And the third is Guna. Guna can make a thing understandable. It is a blue lotus. There is no object, how there will be guna. There is no nirguna. The fourth is kriya. It is niskriya. The fifth is sambandha. These are the 5 things by which you can understand a word. Rudhi, jati, guna, kriya and sambandha. And these 5 things are not possible in this. So now, how will you understand this? And for that, Upanishad gives three ways of understanding it. And that constitutes the way it can only be understood by negation, not by positive things. That is what I was trying to bring home today, that any amount of putting it in a positive language will not be That is why he is telling anaskharasya dharmasya. Neti neti comes handy than talking about that this is Sat, Chit and Ananda. Are you getting my point? Neti neti, because Sat will always bring something which is existent as far as human beings are concerned. Therefore, this is the first part of this, my talk about consciousness, what is consciousness and how to relate yourself to the consciousness. Second part I am coming to say that there is another cultural consciousness. This is philosophical consciousness. I will come back to philosophical consciousness at the end. I will talk about cultural consciousness, how the human beings live on the earth as the last one point will be what is the takeaway from this talk, from this conference. I will talk and I will end with cultural consciousness. I will bring a story. That how the same defective judgments we have been having all through. One thing that in which human beings specializes is legitimization of the wrong. Any action we do can be legitimized. Anything we do, there is no. The consciously we do something wrong or unconsciously, we will always, that is a human trait. Dogs cannot do this. The cows cannot do this. So what is happening? The legitimization of the wrong is something only human beings are capable of doing, and that is why I will give an example. I will give an example how pervasively we see even the wrong. We don't do the deep surface analysis. We can talk about this. The deep surface analysis. One story. Once in Rama was doing a Rajasuya Yaga after he got coronated, and he called a large number of Brahmins to have bhojan. Like he wanted to give a big feast to the Brahmins those days. That was the tradition. Now also we do. So what happened when the one Brahmin took away a golden pot and a saucer after eating, and he was caught by the security guards on the door, the exit door. And when he was caught, according to the Manu, if a person steals gold, he should be given capital punishment. And Manu also says if he is a Brahmin, there is no punishment. Are you getting the dilemma? I will bring you to the dilemma and the Upanishads also. So, a person who has stolen a gold plate should be given capital punishment, and a person, if he is a Brahmin, he should not be given punishment. His ministers could not decide what type of thing, how it should be adjudicated, like justice should be distributed. Therefore, they went to Mandhata. Mandhata was just one yuga earlier, he was in the heaven. Then when he went to Mandhata told, who are you all? The security guards told that. Then Mandhata told, I don't want to see their face. In which country the women are being taken away by the people. Women have no security. What type of country it is? I don't want to see their face. Mandhata told that I don't want to see the ministers of Rama, because in that world the women do not have security. How can I see them? Then they told, okay, one thing we do, put a curtain between us and you, and then we'll tell our problem. Then he did this. Then they told that this is the problem, we are in a dilemma, we don't know what to do. Mandhata thought for a while. He told, the problem, asked the Brahmin, what is the problem? The Brahmin told that, see, when I ate sumptuous food, I remembered my wife and children not eating, being starving for last 1 week, and therefore I thought if I take this service, I'll get something and feed them. Mandhata told, ministers, tell me who is at fault. The Brahmin is at fault, or the king who rules the kingdom is at fault. I am inviting to a cultural consciousness. The cultural, historical consciousness, political consciousness, all that we can talk under this umbrella. See, it is not the mistake of the Brahmin that he took away the plate, it is the mistake of the king who is not able to feed even the Brahmins. Are you getting my point? So this is the thing that is the second thing that I want to bring here. So the third thing is, third thing is third thing is the idea of so this third thing is again going back in this cultural consciousness, the place of devotion and its ramification, implication for consciousness is something we should discuss. And how, again, many types of things that we have tried to legitimize today cannot. You wanted to ask some question, Professor?
I got a signal from the organizer.
Oh, time is up. I'll stop.
5 minutes.
Okay, no, 5 minutes हो जाएगा. So the third thing that I want to bring is again lot of things to speak. I'll limit myself. The third thing that again I will bring a consciousness involving devotion, a story. I'm not going to talk about philosophy. Philosophy is over now. I will talk about cultural consciousness. One example I have given. Second example I would like to give. This example relates to Vrindavan. Vrindavan, Tulsidas was camping. Tulsidas usually stays in Varanasi. Tulsi Ghat is there. He was staying in Vrindavan, and in that place, Mira was a regular resident of Vrindavan. After living wherever she came from, she stayed there. And one day, Mira wanted to have a darshan of Tulsidas. And Tulsi's writings, if you read, you will see how, like, I don't know, anti-feminist or whatever. He has written a lot of things against women. Whatever. So, he told, see, I am not in the habit of meeting women. Who told? Tulsidas says, these people, those who came, that one lady has come from somewhere to see you. He told, see, I am not in the habit of seeing women. Mira says, go and tell Sadhu, whatever, that I thought Krishna is the only husband, only male in Vrindavan. Krishna is the only male. All gopis, men and women, are subservient. They are all female in some way. Goswamis always felt that they are the wives of Krishna. A lot of esoteric consciousness, cultural consciousness I am invoking you too. This man, whoever came with the message that he does not want to see, he told Tulsidas ran and prostrated at Mira's feet. What type of enlightenment you get by listening to this? That Krishna is the only male in this city of Vrindavan, and getting different consciousness arises. That is what the cultural in conclude. This is to say, how do we get the last aspect? This is number one, I spoke about existence. Number two, I spoke about knowledge. Number three, I am taking you to pleasure. What is pleasure? Is pleasure something which is coming from outside? Is it objective, or it is all you are getting manifested when the right time comes, the right things come? Okay, and this is exemplified in our tradition. It is any pleasure that we have seen, Vishaya Sukha, is not from the Vishaya, but it is only the manifestation of the consciousness, essential consciousness, that is which you are. Therefore, while writing, I will complete. While writing the beautiful pieces of aesthetics, that is Rasa Gangadhara, written by Pandita Raja Jagannatha, who hailed from Andhra but died in Delhi. Like he writes that what is the pleasure? He said, Bhaknavarana Chideva Rasaha. The any rasanispati, any pleasure that you enjoy, you experience is nothing but when the covering, the superimposition is taken away, what remains is pleasure. And what is the Bhaknavarana Chideva Rasa? I have a lot of things to speak about that, I don't have time. And so this the pleasure is nothing but it is not like a dog chewing the the dry bone and getting his blood because of chewing the dry bone, he thinks the blood comes from the bone. It is your own self manifested. That is why the Upanishad says, Raso Vaisa, Rasayevayam Labdva Anandi Bhavati. Upanishad. This is rasa. And by getting this rasa, you become Ananda comes from that yourself, not from outside. One small thing I wanted to tell you. You are talking about Sureshwara. I was I thought I must quote Sureshwara. This is the occasion when a wife seeks from knowledge from the husband, because husband wants to give all the property to the wife, Maitri, Brahmana and brother. Husband wants to give all the things that he has accumulated. The richest monk of his time, Yajnavalkya, wants to give his property to the two wives and go to do sadhana. Yogi and sadhaka we were talking about. One of the wives say, if you are giving up the things and going to something, you are one of the most knowledgeable person of this time. There must be something for which you are going which is better than the property you are leaving behind. Sureshwara quotes a verse. I am very fond of this verse. I will quote that and end my talk. He says, Swamin, dear husband, give me that property which does not get adjusted, however much you give. And what type of I quote? Nadyam nantam cha madhyam cha dhanasya yasya vidyate. Give me that property which does not have a beginning, does not have an end, therefore it does not have a middle. Because any property you give straight, it will get exhausted. Nadyam, no beginning, nantam, no end, madhyam, no middle, therefore. Dhanasya yasya vidyate. That property, that prosperity, that wealth you give, that which does not have a beginning, does not have an end, does not have a middle, dhanena nakshayam yati. However much you give, it will not get exhausted. Consciousness. Okay? This is Atma Vidya. Dhanena nakshayam yati. Tadeva vasudhiyatam. Give, if at all you want to give, that property. And therefore, Yajnavalkya says, Priyava are Priyam Bhasase. You are my dearest wife and you are telling me something which is dearer to me. Asva Vakshamite. Come, sit and listen carefully. Thank you for listening to me for all these things.
Remove this so that I can go there. I don't know what time is this. Remove this so that I can go there.